Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this new YouTube video in which we will dive really deep into our 1 million fashion dropshipping backend. So as you guys may or may not know, this is the second time we hit our 1 million revenue in a month. This is currently October, it's currently the 31st of October, so we even hit more than this. But yeah, I just want to go very deep into how our team looks, how you guys could even learn from this, what you need in order to do a 1 million euro revenue month, because it's way more than you think. But yeah, it's the second time we have this, like this kind of revenues in a month. And first time was in April. I wouldn't say it was luck back then, but we were way less prepared. So currently we have a very strong team. We're very happy with the team. And I very much think that your team is your biggest asset, because if you have a team full of A players, which you currently have, then you are really set for success. Also, we really started scaling and like tripling or 10x our business as soon as we had our first employees. So yeah, let's dive into it. We always go with the flow of hire fast, fire fast, and I'm a really strong believer that you always have to give new employees the chance to prove themselves. We mainly recruit them from online jobs or Upwork, and to be honest, Philippines or Pakistan, we don't really care. We just want someone who has track record, who has already done the job, has experience, that we just need to give them an SOP, a couple of weeks to like get in the flow, and then we evaluate them. So yes, hire fast, fire fast. You really want to be looking for these A players. There's also a lot of people who like don't really come for the hard work, I would say. So yeah, as soon as we're not satisfied, we fire them immediately after 1-2 weeks. But the main thing and the most important part is that you give them the right education. You cannot expect them to do things the way you want them to do without giving them the right information, you know? So as soon as we onboard them, we give them looms, we give them documents, everything. As soon as they have questions, they can ask us. And it's very important. You cannot just throw them in the pool and hope for them that they will swim. So that being said, this is how our backend looked like for a very long period. I think until I would say April, beginning of April, this is what our backend was looking like. But yeah, ever since we grew like crazy. And I would say if you like this video, like please leave a like, leave a comment. It really motivates us to make more of these videos, to drop some more sauce. And let's get into it. Like a few of these things we go very deep into in the inner circle, so always be welcome to join the inner circle. The link is down below. But yeah, let's get into it. This is kind of the tree on how our team is looking right now. This is only for the dropshipping stores, so we also have an like completely different backend for our brand that we are building. We also try to involve more European/American people in the brand, because that's obviously a value for a brand, that you can literally bring people like this in, like people with a very big know-how. But this video is mainly on the dropshipping backend, so that's what we will be talking about. So as you can see here, when I was drawing this, I was kind of impressed with my own team. But yeah, let's dive into me and Bryan. What do we do on daily basis? So actually, we kind of stepped away from doing the day-to-day tasks. That's why we hired the COO. I will talk more about this later. But we don't really want to be involved in the day-to-day tasks /chat/Slack channels, because that's really time-consuming, you know? What we do, we build the right team, we bring the right people in the right places. Like I mentioned before, hire fast, fire fast, and we really want to like think in terms of the vision of the company. Where do we want to be in X amount of months? And then we reverse engineer from there. What do we need? Who do we need for this? And that's actually like already a full-time job, I would say. So yeah, obviously strategic planning comes along with this. There's a lot of unexpected problems that happen. Think about payment processors, GMCs, meta blocks, things like that. So it's pretty crazy, and there's no like to-do list we have every day. It's every day something else. Could be working on new stores, could be working on new employees, could be working on a completely new business, the brand. So we don't really have like a to-do list for every day. We more likely jump in like where we are needed. Like if there's a problem in a certain department, we go, we have calls, and we check in with everyone if things are okay. But in the bigger lines, we just evaluate the businesses and check like where can we improve, what are our weaknesses, where should we improve, and obviously GMCs as well. That's something we do ourselves because it's very time consuming and very important for our business, since we are doing, like, I would say 60% of this revenue, maybe even 65% of this revenue is through Google. The other 35% is through Meta. And yeah, don't underestimate the importance of your GMC if Google is your main business, or the ad accounts and the creatives and stuff like that if Meta is your main business. So we have a C-level management here. It's actually consisting of 2 C-levels and then the media buyer. So a few months ago, we hired a CFO, and it's only now that we kind of get the value from it. It took a little bit of time before the CFO function was like really up and running, like the way we like it. But now it's like the most valuable thing we have in the company, because we literally get like weekly and monthly reports of every number our business has. And this is something people underestimate a lot. They just go with some Google Drive document, fill in their daily budgets and stuff like that, and think that the profit, what they see in there, is their profit that will get in the bank account. Well, unfortunately, it's not like that. There's a lot of overhead costs that are not included in there. There's so many things that you don't even know that you're paying, or you don't know it has this big of an impact without you getting like a decent CFO report. So that's very nice for us that we now have this. They are also actively looking for optimizations, both on the bigger level, like companies, our wage, future investments and stuff like that, but also on store level. Like, okay, we've seen on this store, the subscriptions have increased with this amount of percentage. Please have a look, or you might want to stop having this subscription, stuff like that. So that we don't really have to be busy with this, because as you might know, we have multiple stores, over 5 active stores. I would even say around 10 active stores, of which obviously there's only a few doing big numbers, but the other ones are also running. So yeah, it's very hard for us to keep a good overview on what's happening, like what money is going out on which account, on which stores, where are we losing money, what subscriptions are we forgetting. So that's actually why the CFO level is like really eye-opening for us. Also the bookkeeping, don't underestimate the amount of orders we have with this. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I cannot show it because that might give away too much information from all of our stores. But yeah, we have a lot of daily orders, which comes with a lot of transactions, with a lot of bookkeeping and stuff like that. Obviously also guidance with future investments. That's something very important as well, because obviously we cannot know everything, and that's why we just need to hire the right people to advise us. So yeah, and I've written down here, hire and educate new team members, but obviously that's not the CFO, that's the COO. We hired this person around 2 months ago, and also this was like really eye-opening for us, because before we had to be involved with everything so deeply. That's where we now take a little distance, and we let the COO handle the direct contact with all of the rest. So as you can see here, the COO will have direct contact with the customer service, product listing, dispute, supplier, Shopify developer, AI specialist, and stuff like that. So before it was us managing all of these departments. Right now it's us having contact with the COO, and the COO then has contact with all of these departments. So it's really time saving for us to have a COO in place, and it's really valuable for us because obviously with all of this extra time, there's so much more we can do, we can work on, and even if it's just creating GMCs like for 1 hour more a day, that's already something that will bring in way more money than talking with the customer service rep, for example. Also something good to know maybe. So the COO, and we like the same was for us before, he has contact with the customer service manager, product lister, for example, but not with all of the agents. So what we do and how we've always build this team is we hire one A player and then we want him to hire new A players, you know? So he is the leader. We don't even know the names of these agents, for example. There's like 8 customer service agents. I've got no clue what their name is, but we know, and I think this is a good thing, that our A player service customer service manager is managing them, is educating them, and this also takes away a lot of unnecessary conversations or time from our side, you know? He's responsible for everything what they do. So if there's a fuck up, it will be this person that will be taking ownership. Same goes for product listing. There's no need for us to have chats with all of these agents. No, we just need to have one contact person, and on his side, he then is responsible for all of the team members underneath him. Coming back to the COO, so his main goals or main tasks are the SOPs creation, which is very important because obviously for every role in your company, you want to have an SOP in place. Either he makes it or he makes it together with the manager, but it's very important that everyone in the company knows what he needs to do, when he needs to do it, how much he needs to do, and the SOPs come with the KPIs, and this also comes with a bonus system. So this is really important. Don't underestimate how important SOPs are in your company, because right now, if for example, there's a new product listing person joining the team, he just needs to get like a brief overview, the SOP, maybe a call, and it should be already good to go. Like the SOPs are built in a way that even the most stupid person on earth would know how to do the job. And that's really valuable because you can really scale very hard, you know. And something I wanted to mention as well, like it's not really related with the COO, but something important is that even when we were on this level, we didn't just have one person who was doing everything, you know, because a lot of people have this and then they call it their store manager, and he does everything. But it's not scalable because when you're opening a second store, your store manager, okay, you educated him, but there's only a certain amount of work he can put in every day, you know. If you want to have multiple stores, you rather have one A player per department that can then hire multiple people if the volume goes up, instead of one store manager, because a store manager is limited and then you will need to rehire someone and educate him everything from scratch, you know. This person has been working with us for maybe a year right now, and like he really knows the business in and out. So even though if he might triple our stores and go to 30 stores, it's just him adding more agents and having a better overview of that, you know. So building your team like this is very scalable. Building your team on one store manager per store, not scalable at all. Keep that in mind. The COO also has daily check-ins with the team, weekly calls. Like you need to have calls with your people. You need to know if there's any bottlenecks, if there's any patterns, if there's any optimizations to be done. You should know this as a business leader unless you have a COO. I actually don't like to hop on calls every day with the team because it takes away a lot of time you can spend on more impactful tasks. So yeah, keep this in mind. I did it in the beginning myself, maybe not as much as I should have, but it's a good tip to obviously have as much check-ins with the team as possible. And the best way to do is through calls, because that keeps them more accountable as well. So he actively looks for optimizations, mainly in the customer service, I would say, because that's, I would say, maybe one of the most important departments. But yeah, he's always looking for better ways to improve the accuracy, efficiency, productivity, and stuff like that. So for example, when he hopped on, the first thing we did was we switched our platform to Zoho for the customer service. We were using Zendesk before, we were not that satisfied. And just him joining the team and moving everything to a new platform he has experience with already like made the productivity go up with a very, very big number. So that's very valuable. And obviously in this role, you only want someone who has already had a lot of experience managing stores or teams. Like, I'm not sure if he had experience with e-commerce directly. I don't think so, at least not with dropshipping, but he knew how to set people and structures in place And that's actually what this role is. Like, okay, we needed to educate him a little bit on what we do, but that's not like dropshipping is not rocket science, you know? So yeah, that's actually very important. Maybe one of the biggest key players we have in the team. So yeah, bringing in more structure and increasing the productivity and solving bottlenecks with everyone is his, I would say, main job. Then we have the media buyer. I put him on this level because we have direct contact with him as well. And I think this is also one of the most important roles of our business, because if the media buyer would go away, we would need to look for a new media buyer, which would suck because it's very hard to get a good media buyer, you know. So he currently does the media buying for our Google stores. Meta stores we do ourselves. Obviously, we have someone in-house. This is an agency. But yeah, they do daily optimizations, give us weekly updates 1 or 2 times a week. And something I want to really tell you guys is never save money on your media buyer. Like never, 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 never. It's so important this person really pays himself by just generating you more revenue. It's also performance based because obviously they want you to earn more money, so they would have more money as well. So yeah, never save money actually on any of your employees. We pay all of our employees pretty good, I would say. And that's a lesson I've learned as well, because there's a lot of people who really are like rage beating on their staff and like really getting their wages down till $2 an hour. But think about this, guys. If you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. That's what my dad always used to say. So yeah, don't save on your team. Like your team is literally what's bringing in you more revenue, where you can focus on other things, and that's the best investment or asset you can have as a company. So very important. For Meta, we have someone in-house, as I've mentioned before, because Meta is less hard to do it yourself, I would say. With Google, I feel like you need to like months or years of experience before you're able to do media buying on a good way. And obviously, if you are looking for a media buyer, then just find someone with a proven track record. That's one of the most important things a media buyer could have. Okay, then we go to customer service management, or department rather. This is the biggest one. I was asking our manager, like, okay, how many agents do you now have actively working for us? Because I'm not following this up like on daily basis. And when he said 8, I was really opening my eyes and I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, that means that there's a lot of work. Obviously, customer service is a lagging factor. If we increase or if we double our sales today, then only in 1 week or 2 weeks we will have increased tickets in customer service. So I might even expect this number to go up in the near future. So they do actually more than customer service only. That's mainly because this was our first hire, I would say. So we started with giving who's now customer service manager, various tasks. And that's also what he has been doing with his team now. So they do customer service. They also check whether we have healthy margins. They negotiate prices with our supplier on daily basis for our best sellers, but also for new products. They actively check our Trustpilot. They respond to Trustpilot. They escalate Trustpilot bad reviews if there's any necessity. They process the refunds, and they follow up with parcel panel on daily basis to see if there's any parcels leaving behind, not being shipped, there's any problems, so that we can handle the problem before the problem appears to the customer, you know. That's always something you want to do. You want to be ahead of the customer. A customer will be very pissed off if they need to find out their parcel has been stuck in some cross-border control. No, you want to know this and inform them, you know, because they will be way happier than them having to find out. Then they will be already pissed. Some key metrics we have for customer service is a first response time, which is actually a very important metric in ecom, because the lower this number, the lower the chargebacks you will have. You want to have your first response time under 3 hours. Like, this is already very hard with the tickets or the volume we are doing. But if you are running a lower business, really focus on this before it's too late, because the 3 hours is like a good sweet spot. Obviously, the lower the better, but sometimes it's not possible. So if you are having a first response time under 3 hours, you're good in terms of chargeback. So secondly, we obviously want them to lower the return and refund rates. The lower the better. They also get like bonuses on the metrics they have and on the end of month in terms of refunds and returns. So it's very important. Obviously, everyone can make money, but keeping the money in the business is the most important. And obviously, there are some laws you have to live by, some customer laws. So obviously, lowering the return and refund rates on a legit way is very hard. So that's a metric we constantly try to check with them, you know. Also, the client satisfaction rate, this is very important with customer service. So always treat the customer nicely, always feel empathized with them. Very important. And then also one of the metrics we started following up very closely lately is the percentage on settlements on funnel 1. Obviously, funnel 1 is where we give a partial refund, and the higher the metric, the better, because obviously we want people to have as much or to settle on funnel 1 before it's escalating to any other funnels. So when someone is reaching out for a refund or return, the higher percentage of people settling on funnel 1, the better for our customer service manager, who has a team of 8 agents under him. Then product listing. Also, this is quite big. The product listing manager, he was our second hire, I believe, and he really grew as a person. It's actually quite funny. He this week showed us a video of his house he was able to build with the money he earned with us for him and his family. There's also like a big office inside of the house. I cannot show the video because of privacy reasons, but it's really fulfilling to really know that you're actually doing good with these people as well. You know, you're paying them correctly, you're giving them bonuses, they're happy with you, we are happy with them. Because imagine one of these 2 people leave on our peak, in a peak month. Like, we are so screwed, you know. So we really don't want that. So we pay them. So we pay them equally on what we value them. We give them monthly bonuses. It's very important. So this person actually gets an SOP per store. Obviously, every store needs some different product listings. For example, the currency, the sizings, the discounts. There's a lot of things to take into mind when having so much stores. So yeah, he really grew into this role by adding a lot of structure, and we had to help with this a lot in the beginning. But right now he's doing a very good job, because it's very important that all of our listings are compliant with Google and Meta. With Google it's quite hard, so we have, like for the Google stores, we have very, very tight SOPs. I also dropped one of these SOPs in the inner circle, so if you want to be compliant with Google, you can join it with the link down below. The SOPs in there. But it's very important, because obviously if you're not compliant, then you go out of business, because Google or Meta will block you. So having someone who can like import your products like in a compliant way is very important if you're like building a long-term store. Currently he's importing up to 300 products per day. We had a small pause right now because there's a ban wave coming for Google. But yeah, imagine this is a lot of products, so he really needs to be very structured for his team in order to not make any mistakes. Because yeah, we cannot have that. We had it like last week. He fucked up some things, but yeah, luckily we were able to solve it before anything bad happened. So yeah, that's also because the COO and us were checking actually pretty closely on everyone's work. You know, that's important to keep them accountable. Then we have the dispute manager. This is our most recent hire, but I would say also maybe one of the most important hires. Like, I know I'm telling about all of these roles that it's important, but it's actually like that. There's not like one of these could just leave and we will not be hurt from this. Obviously we will. Every single one is important. But mainly this dispute manager is fighting and avoiding chargebacks. So both of these are actually important, you know. You want to win the ones that you're fighting, but you rather avoid chargebacks by installing chargeback alerts on Disputify, for example, or on chargeback.io, I think it's called. So there's multiple platforms, but you don't want the chargeback rate to go up, because that could give you some other problems like your payment processing stopping to work with you and stuff like that. You really don't want to have that. So yeah, these are the key metrics we give them. So the chargeback rate is checked on monthly basis. Also the escalation rates. If you work on PayPal, you know what I'm talking about. And obviously the cases you are fighting, you want to win them. Like, that's very important. You just want to win the cases you're fighting. And if you don't think you can win, you just settle, because obviously there's always a fee you pay if you fight it and you lose it. So also this person is cooperating with a lot of the teams because they need to check with the supplier, but also with the customer service, for example, if something's up, or with the product manager, product listing manager, if some size charts may not be accurate according to what we've put on the website and stuff like that. So this is really an all-round function, I would say. And yeah, this player joined us a couple of weeks ago, and we already see the value. Also, this player is one of the most expensive ones in the team, but here again, if you can win more chargebacks, you keep more money in the business. This person just pays himself easily, if you have a real good player. So yeah, very important. Then the supplier. There's like tons of things I could say about the supplier. It's mainly the account manager of the supplier, but what's most important for us is fast quotations and fulfillment, because with delays, like, that's the biggest headache you will have. You will have 100% any problems with your customers if you're having delays, and obviously the pricing is important as well. We have a module in the inner circle as well, where I go really deep in what kind of agreements you want to have with your supplier, especially for Q4, because it's very important. We're already 1 month into Q4, so yeah, better late than never, I would say. But if you want to check that out, you can as well. But it's very important to have some good agreements in place with your supplier. So we give them SOPs as well per account manager we have. We have 2 now, and that's because we are doing between 500 and 1,000 orders per day. So yeah, very important to also be very strict with them and follow up. At least that's the COO doing. We're not really managing that, but it's very important to follow up very closely with supplier as well, because a lot of mistakes can happen here, and you want to get this solved before the customer knows. Then we have the Shopify developer. This is the person who creates all new stores we need. So for example, we tell him tomorrow, like, okay, we want to open a new US store. We send him a store we want it to look like, and he just builds it from scratch. Then we add products, and the website is ready to go. So we really don't need to be busy with this too much. Before this was Bryan. Before Bryan was doing this, but yeah, we've noticed that a lot of time goes into building a new store, even though you've done it like 1,000 times. That's valuable time you can put in something else if you just hire someone who can do this for you. So he really builds this from scratch on a new team. Especially with Google, you don't want to leave any marks of other stores that like are not approved or something. And then last but not least, AI specialist. So this is someone we hired 3 months ago, and he's like involved with everything obviously that has to do with AI. So this comes from product pictures to ads to backgrounds. But yeah, this is like mainly focused on the marketing, because obviously the AI, you can do it on the product pictures, but like you really want to be different than your competition, and you do this by having some AI in place for the ads, for the backgrounds, for the product pictures. I would say AI is not used that much with us currently. In the customer service department, it's used for rewriting or translations. In the product listing department, it's used for making the titles like SEO compliant and making the descriptions in a nice way. But yeah, most likely this person is involved when we have anything to do with AI. So guys, that was it. This is what our team looks like. It's pretty big. But yeah, as I've mentioned in the beginning, like your team, it pays itself. Like it's so important to have a good team, A players only, hire fast, fire fast. And that's the only way to grow. Like you cannot do things on yourself. We were very, very pessimistic at first. Like we thought these 2 hires could bring us anywhere, but obviously it cannot. Like, you need to grow as a business. This comes with growing as a team, and just making sure that everyone is accountable of what they do. Everyone knows what to do, because yeah, otherwise it will just be a lot of people doing anything and nothing at the same time. So make sure you grow your team in a steady, consistent way. Don't hire too many people at once, because you will lose sight of who's doing what. But yeah, you really want to take time to see what are people doing. Are they doing it in a good way? Can we optimize, and can we make people more productive, or are they just not the right fit for the company? Happens a lot as well. Then you just have to let them leave the company and find someone new. Like, that's life. Unfortunately, it's not the nicest thing to do, firing people, but yeah, unfortunately, it's part of business. So I hope you guys had anything about this. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments and we will for sure answer it. And yeah, we have some like more in-depth videos on some of these departments in the inner circle, so you might want to check that out. It's only $200 at this moment per month, so you can just cancel after 1 month if that's what you want. But yeah, in the inner circle, you can really join other people who are like-minded. We have at least 1 call a week. We have some guest speakers, so it's very valuable. We have a lot of videos as well. So if you're interested in growing your e-commerce store, I would definitely advise you to join us there. And yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to this channel, and let us know what you want to see next, because we really want to put some more free value out there, you know. So yeah, speak to you guys later. Ciao.